I'm Father Robert Ballecer, host of Twiat, This Week in Enterprise Tech on the Twit Network. I'm continuing our tour of Interop in Las Vegas at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center 2013. We're here in the NOC, where, strictly speaking, I shouldn't be driving this cart, but I'm doing it anyways because I care about you guys. What we're going to do over the next couple of minutes is I'm going to take you over some of the key features of the InteropNET. I'm going to show you how we get connectivity to our customers, to the clients, to the vendors on the floor. I'm going to show you how we get connectivity into the show itself, and then I'm going to show you the super secret pad. That's right, in the bowels of the Mandalay Bay Convention Center, where everything comes together.
Makes a difference.
So this right here, this is what we call a drop. It comes down from the ceiling from a series of catwalks that, well, the Teamsters have attached and affixed to the roof of the Mandalay Bay Convention Center. These drops come off of what we call a rib, which is a bundle of cables that we've created that go down into a patch panel. It allows us to lay several lines or ribs across the ceiling of the convention center and then have the riggers drop down one of these cables into each booth that needs internet access. Now, each of these eventually goes back to what we call a show floor ped. Now let me show you what a show floor ped looks like. I know it's hard to see at the moment, but the structure that we're coming up to with the green fiber hose and the blue bundle of cables coming out of it is what we call a ped. It has a ped protector around it, but when I go inside, you can see the equipment that's in there. It has a switch which allows us to do gigabit and PoE out to each booth, and it also has a secondary switch at the bottom which allows us to do our out-of-band management. Together we have up to 16 of these show floor peds delivering internet connectivity to all of our customers, all of the vendors, all of our clients on the show floor. But the ped's only part of the way that we connect them. In order for the peds to work, we have to have the core. This structure that we're coming up to, this is the InteropNET core. There's a reason why we keep it out here, because it's really loud. In fact, it's about 90 decibels right next to some of those fans. This is where we have 100 gigabit of external connectivity coming into the network, and then it gets routed throughout the entire show. That includes the classrooms, the off-show floor areas, the show floor, and of course, us in the NOC. Now, this core in and of itself is a fascinating collection of gear. We've got switches from Avaya and Cisco. We've got F5 providing all of our protection. They're actually keeping us from being DDoSed. We also have an Ixia box in there that is actually DDoSing us with up to 100 gigabits of traffic at any given time. It's a sort of way to test the network to make sure that nothing's going to break when it gets under load. We've also got capture gear from C-Packet and from NetOptics, from Wild Packets. All of these vendors have come together to give us the equipment that we need to be able to set up, to maintain, to analyze the traffic that flows through our network. However, this is not the end. This is only part of the core. There's a super secret part of the core that I want to show you because it's in the bowels of the Mandalay Bay Convention Center. You know, there's only one way to drive when you're driving indoors. Going down. We're now in the bowels of the Mandalay Bay Convention Center. This is the bottom floor, and it's the place that's going to let us see exactly what we need to see, the last part of the InteropNET. Here we are in the dark underside of the convention center, and in a nondescript room in the underside of the Mandalay Bay Convention Center, we have what we like to call the super secret ped. What Mandalay Bay has allowed us to do is to bring one of our peds down into what we call the MDF and plug into their house fiber. As a newer convention center, they have the ability to reach out into each and every single one of these rooms with pre-run fiber. This allows us to get, well, to each and every single area with a minimum amount of fuss. Now, there is one more thing I want to show you, and that is the classrooms. You see, all of this doesn't just feed the vendors on the show floor and us in the NOC, it also goes to all the people who have paid for education. So let's take another ride. Here we we are in the back halls of the Mandalay Bay Convention Center, and surrounding me pretty much on either side are a series of classrooms. That's where the workshops and the educational sessions of Interop take place. So remember, we had all of that connectivity going into the core. We have the MDF down in the super secret pad in the basement of the convention center, and then that comes up into these classrooms. Without these fiber connections, without this connectivity, without the core, without the pad down in the basement, we wouldn't be able to get internet access out to all of the attendees, and therefore we wouldn't really be able to get, well, Interop running like Interop should run. Let's go back to the knock. I want to thank you for joining us on the InteropNET tour. We've taken you everywhere from the show floor to the core, down into the basement, to the classrooms, and back here to the knock. This is not just an educational opportunity, it really is a community of geeks and nerds, the guys behind me who make the InteropNET work. I'm Father Robert Ballecer. Stay tuned because we've got more from Interop Las Vegas 2013.